Hi, everybody. This is Tanya from Tango Business Coaching, and today we are on day 28 of our 30-day leadership challenge, almost at the end here. And today we're going to talk about equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And I really don't think I could have done a 30-day leadership challenge without talking about this particularly important strategy now more than ever, right? So, and it is in this particular section about leading larger teams or leading organizations because that's where the strategy needs to begin. So, McLean Company actually recently released their HR Trends report for 2022, and the EDI and B strategy continues to show up on the list of top priorities for organizations. There is a high level of awareness, it seems, with EDI and B, which is amazing. And people seem to understand that there are important benefits to an organization when you include those kinds of strategies. However, there still seems to be an ongoing disconnect between saying that it's important and actually doing it. There are systemic challenges that continue to exist in larger organizations and in smaller ones too, um, that these strategies are not getting down to and tackling. So far, it seems based on the research, and I would say anecdotally myself, based on what I've seen, is the everybody thinks it's a really great idea, yet putting the investment and the resources into actually digging deep and in looking in all the corners to make sure that all of the procedures and processes that live within an organization are actually EDI and be friendly. So I wanted to talk here a little bit about some of the benefits. I think the list goes on and on and on, but some that I think are more important than others. So one thing we know, companies that focus on EDI and B strategies are more likely to hit their financial target goals, and by up to 120%, which is fascinating. EDI and B elevates every level in your organization and with respect to ideas and thinking, just by adding more diversity to your business, including the like this adds a diversity of thinking. You are also likely better representing your customer base because the thinking is higher level. You're actually getting higher and quicker levels of innovation as well, so your organization has the ability to move faster. Of course, it creates an EDI and B strategy, creates more safety in the workplace. And, go back to a number of my videos where I talked about psychological safety, generally speaking. These strategies allow employees to bring their whole selves to work. It builds a trusting work environment, and therefore, those employees are more likely to stay. If you're not focusing on EDI and B, there is a 1.6 times more higher level of voluntary turnover rate versus those who are actually focused on it. So there's a lot to be said about retention with strategies like this. And I don't know about you, but every organization I talk to right now is having a massive problem with attraction and retention. And this could be one strategy that helps with that. Of course, there are many, many, many more benefits, and they can be reached if there is strong leadership to help build this culture around EDI and B, backing it with a strong voice and with a strong value system, and making courageous decisions when things fall out of line. Taking time, as I said earlier, to build strategies and dig deep in the organization to look at looking under the covers and all the different areas to see if there are strategies sitting there, or processes, or procedures, or structure, or anything that is systemically in place that is actually impeding on these EDI and B strategies. So the McLean Company study, they said that 95% of respondents report that EDI and B is a focus, but those actions are not supporting the importance. So saying it is obviously important, but it's worthless if you can't back it up with actions. So those procedural and systemic issues, they need to be tackled in order for this to be a sustainable strategy. So like many of the other topics I've discussed along the way, this is not a one and done strategy. And by the way, compliance also, may be required, but that is getting you to your minimum level of standard. It is not digging into the depths of your organization and tackling the systemic issues that might be happening there that are going against your EDI and B strategy. So that the compliance and these superficial statements are just not good enough to make a change. EDI and B is actually a way of being, and it must be embedded into the cultural fabric of the organization. I would even go so far as to say organizations that say they're going to do it and then don't follow it up with actions are actually probably hurting themselves more than anything. So if you're going to do it, do it. It would be my suggestion. So McLean suggests 3 foundational elements to make and sustain progress in equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. The first one, which is what we're talking about here, is leadership buy-in, right? Getting your entire leadership team on board with this, not just with their words, but in how they behave. Leaders have to be proactive. They need to champion these strategies. So that's the first one. The second one is around governance. It appears that most organizations that have an EDI and B strategy actually don't have a governance strategy around it. So what are the accountability processes that need to be put in place? How are you going to ensure that the actions you want to take are being measured? So building an accountability framework is really critically important with this, especially at the beginning as you're learning and shifting and changing, right? And then the third piece, of course, is building a formal strategy. So what are you trying to accomplish in a 5-year period? What are you trying to accomplish in a 1-year period? What are the milestones? What are the goals? Writing those SMART objectives, getting really formal with this process is going to help leverage the importance of it, of course. So my challenge for you today is a bit twofold. One is, what are you doing as a leader to champion EDI and B strategies? What is one thing you can do just a little bit more to shift it by just 1 degree? And the second piece of this is, what is your organization doing? And I would say this is where you need to get real with yourself. I know I've said this a bunch of times in the 30-day challenge, but like, get really honest. Like, what is your organization doing? Do an honest assessment, right? Get real with it. Are you actually doing anything, or are you just saying some nice things that are the right things to say? Is it lip service, or do you actually have a strategy in place? What measurable actions? How do you know that there's impact? How do you know that things are shifting? What systemic issues have been uncovered? And then once you've sort of done this assessment, bring it to your leadership team and decide what you want to do next, right? So as a senior leader, you have a voice. If you're the CEO, you for sure have a voice. So just get on with it and do it. This is a really important strategy for all kinds of great and amazing reasons. And I really just I want to leverage this voice here. You can do this and you can do something different and better in terms of equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So good luck with today's challenge. Let me know how it's going. As always, the 30-day challenge tracker is available to you if you want it, if you want to go back on any videos and reflect. So good luck with this one. This is a big one. If you need any support along the way, let me know. And I will see you here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.